Dun, 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 dun. What? I don't know what's happening. Well, sorry guys, I'm trying to figure this out. Apparently, like I'm trying to go live on YouTube and Facebook, but apparently Facebook deleted it. I don't know why. All right, well then it's just not gonna work. Okay, delete on Facebook, remove. All right, we're live on YouTube only, apparently. So, hello everyone. Sorry for that technical difficulty straight from the get-go. My name is Stevie Cade, and welcome to Film Trigger. And we are doing a live watch party because there was a Patreon request. Wow, Steve, I didn't know you had a Patreon. Well, I do, but it didn't come from my Patreon. It came from Chris Durbin's Patreon off of Durbania, and he wanted to bring it on to this show because I actually requested it from him a while back, but now he's got multiple. He's like, well, Steve, let's just bring you in and let's watch it together. So we're going to watch that in just a moment here. Let's do our intro, and then I will bring Durbin on in 3, 2, 1.
Can't rain all the time.
Eric?
Epic.
Were you able to hear what I said?
I heard every word that you said, and that is true because you were the first person to request that I do the Crow on my channel. Never got around to it, but I finally watched it. And then I had my Patreon, Aaron White, and he wants me to do, because it's like his favorite movie of all time. So it's like, why not two-part this? Watch party on your channel, because that's what you do. Review on my channel tomorrow.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but like when you first watched it, you're like, Steve, I don't get it.
And, you know, I gotta be honest with you. I was afraid to say that because I know how much people love this movie. So even when I say that, like, I promise there's no disrespect. It's just, I kind of missed the bus. So, like, Steve, you grew up with it, but I just didn't. I didn't watch it in my childhood. I didn't have it growing up. So by the time I got to it, I just went, yeah, it's okay.
Hey, well, I get that. We're supposed to do a live watch party of Galaxy Quest at some point in time.
Yes, that's right.
I've felt the same way. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I missed the bus on this one. It's not as great.
That's one of my favorite comedies ever. I love Galaxy Quest.
Right. So we're gonna have to do this same exact thing with but we switch positions with Galaxy Quest, which we will do. But this is for Aaron White. Aaron White is a dedicated YouTube fan of yours and starting to become mine as well. Thank you, Aaron White. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Aaron's a cool dude.
So let's talk about, before we dive into this movie, and for anybody who wants to watch this movie with us, it is on HBO Max. So you can head there, watch it. It's free, right? Free on HBO? Well, if you subscribe to HBO Max.
You got to subscribe, but you don't pay anything extra to watch it.
Right.
Sure. Yes.
But there's a lot of things that revolve around this film, and a lot of controversy, not controversy, but a cursed movie, if you will.
Right.
But I looked up a couple of fun facts. So things that I didn't know I learned, like the creator, James O'Barr, who came up with this comic book, was an outcast. He has a speech impediment, and he always had trouble communicating with people. And so he leaned on drawing and writing comics and doing this thing to kind of escape his reality a little bit. But he was always barred down with depression and anxiety, which a lot of that shines through in this movie. You can see where that's coming from. But also where this movie came from was he actually found love and was being happy for the first time. And then his wife was killed by a drunk driver. Yeah. And in that is when he wrote this movie. And so you'll see, knowing that, you can see where the heart of this movie came from. It's from his actual situation. So, I thought that was a very interesting fact. Now, here's another interesting fact, that the studio bought the rights to do this movie, and they wanted to turn it into a musical starring Michael Jackson.
What?
Yeah. Well, you know how studios are. They really know everything. They really know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, just come on, look at Justice League. Isn't that proof that they've got it down?
Yeah, they're great guys. But the director of this movie, he came in. He's like, no, we're gonna take this back to the original concept of James O'Barr's, like what he wanted, the intent of this film. And so obviously Brandon Lee was in this movie, son of Bruce Lee, and other people that were supposed to be in the cast or were supposed to play. Eric Draven was Johnny Depp was heavily eyed to do this role along with Christian Slater. It wasn't until they did a makeup test with Brandon Lee that Brandon Lee had the foresight, like he wasn't happy with how the makeup looked, so he went home, slept in it, and then came back and goes, "This is what it should look like." And they're like, "Okay, you know what? We dig it. We'll bring you on." So that's
wow.
That's how Brandon Lee, kind of took over the role. So, and also, I said it was a cursed movie, and it's not cursed for the obvious reasons. It was actually known to be a cursed movie before the big incident with Brandon Lee happened. The actors were getting bloodied and bashed. Stuntmen were breaking bones. Even Brandon Lee, breaking down the pawn shop door, cut his hand really, really bad. And people are like, "Oh man, this movie's cursed." Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Oh man, now I'm gonna look at him breaking down that pawn shop door differently.
I know, right? Well, I mean, and the scene that that they were shooting when he got shot too, which is
I found that documentary online about where he got shot, what the original scene was when he got shot, and so
yeah, it's tough. But now a lot of people think that they accidentally put a real bullet in the gun or something like that, and that's not what happened exactly. Actually, the gun that was used is only used to shoot two different types of bullets, and that's a dummy bullet, which doesn't have anything in it, just makes the pow sound, but it doesn't have any gunpowder in it,
right?
But it has everything else. And then they have the Black Crown bullet, which has gunpowder, but it has no projectile. So it's for a close-up shot, so you can see fire shooting out of a barrel and what have you.
Right.
But what happened was one of the dummy bullets, it just become dislodged somehow, and one of the tips got stuck in the barrel. So.
Yeah. Oh.
Then they turned around and used the Black Crown, which has the gunpowder but no projectile, and it was like a perfect storm. The thing that was lodged in the gun became the projectile, and it was just it was such an oddity. And Brandon Lee was in the hospital for 5 hours. They couldn't stop the bleeding, and he was struck in the abdomen 4 feet away. And he died March 31st, 1993. So, there's definitely some tragedy. And the production of this movie halted, and they were actually just going to kind of recut it real fast and just put it out on video only. But Miramax stepped in, gave him a little extra bump in the budget and said, "Hey, finish this properly with stand-ins," because there's only just a couple of shots that they had to have stand-ins for. And they said, "Finish it appropriately, and we'll give it an actual release in theaters." So that's how this movie came about. And the whole thing's just tragic. Absolutely. I mean, Brandon Lee was supposed to get married to his wife 2 weeks later. I mean, everything just kind of, I don't know, it almost mirrors the movie.
Yeah, it kind of does, and that's really tragic. And then I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I got this because it came from the internet, but the actor that had the gun, right? Like he went into rehab, or not rehab, but whatever, had to get help for a year because just the mental toll of that incident. Yeah,
he actually never recovered from that. He died in 2018 or 2016, somewhere around that time, and he had never actually seen the movie. He says he just never wanted to relive it.
Yeah. So if I was in his position, I would never go see the movie either. I mean, I'd be happy. Yeah, it got released. Brandon got, that movie out there, but I wouldn't be able to go see it.
Yeah. Just imagine and this would have laid the path for him to be an A-lister. I mean,
Oh yeah.
an A-list actor. I mean, right up there with Johnny Depp, right up there with, like Brad Pitt and people like this. And another thing that this is more of the theorized controversy, not controversy, but like curse of the Lees is it's believed that Bruce Lee and the Lee family is the men in that family are cursed.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Bruce Lee's brother, who was born before Bruce Lee, died, and the family considered that to be a curse on the family. So when Bruce Lee was born, and he just living life or doing whatever, his parents named him the Phoenix, I believe is what they called him.
Interesting.
And they called him that to kind of distract the demons. As I said, they wanted to confuse the demons. This is not a boy, this is a girl. That's why we're calling him the Phoenix. And well, ironically, he ended up dying. And actually, the way one of the Bruce Lee's last movies that he did, the character that he was playing was killed by an accidental gunshot while shooting a movie.
My gosh. Wow.
There's so many different parallels and interesting things that go into this, and this movie will forever be held in just such a interesting and very kind of poetic light to me. If you guys don't know, I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. Consider this movie in one of my top 10. I love it so much that I named my only begotten son after this movie. Seth Draven, he's on this channel all the time. He ditched the name Cade because it's lame, and he likes Draven now. So, and he's not a big fan of this movie. So,
he likes the name and not a fan of the movie. Interesting.
Right. But without further ado, you ready to get into this thing?
Yes. Let me flip over to HBO Max, and you count it down.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, click.
I'm clicked.
All right, I see the name Brandon Lee on screen.
Brandon
right
Lee.
now.
Okay, we might actually be on time this time.
Yeah, The Crow is on screen right now.
Okay, you're like 1 second ahead, but we could live with that.
Don't ruin this for me.
Okay, October 30th, Devil's Night. You know what they forgot is the apostrophe there. That's bad grammar. Because it's not multiple Devil's Night; it is the Devil's Night, right?
Who knows?
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
maybe it's multiple. I mean, maybe each person who get involved with all the chaos happening. Maybe each one of them is a devil.
Maybe they act like devils. Like that's one of the things I do like about this movie is you have the good guys and the bad guys, and it's pretty clear cut. And the bad guys are pretty over the top bad guys.
I wouldn't even consider over the top. I would honestly, it seems pretty accurate to people that are on coke, which is what these people are. They're on drugs, and it doesn't seem too far fetched.
Yeah, every other scene you see them sniffing it. So yeah, they're probably always high or crazy.
So this movie is compared a lot to Tim Burton's The Batman, just in its cinematography.
I kind of see that then.
I've always compared this movie, or not this movie particularly as much as this version of Eric Draven. I've always compared him, like, if you took Batman and Joker and put them together as one person,
yes,
and just a little sprinkle of Deadpool in there, and now you have Eric Draven.
That's true. And the thing is, I'm watching this, and all I could think is, how much did Heath Ledger take from this for his role as the Joker? Because I saw a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
this movie put a smile on that face, which is not till the end, but yeah.
This movie is so ahead of its time, in my opinion, and nothing really like this movie came out during this moment, especially comic book movies. This is a solid rated R, fairly close to the source material, and it was very creatively done. Like, just the shots, with the technology available at the time, you could tell a lot of heart went into making this thing.
Oh, definitely.
A lot of passion. Oh, by the way, a little fun little note here. There is a couple of shots in this movie
Yeah.
where they are in the same warehouse that Shredder first shows up in the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja
so
Turtles
cool.
movie.
You're gonna have to point that out when we get there. 'Cause
And
that is so
it's
cool.
also the same place, which I also learned is in a couple of shots of Mario Brothers.
Oh, I don't care about that one.
Oh, come on. That'd be a good watch party.
That would be like for a bad movie watch party where we just eat popcorn and throw it at the camera when it gets exceptionally bad.
We should do that. We should make this like a monthly or a bi-weekly thing, Durbin.
I think I agree with you because this is fun, and Mario Brothers would be a fun bad movie.
It would.
I feel bad for this. What's this girl's name? Sarah? Am I getting that right?
I think so. I can't remember. I'm so bad with names.
Well, I feel so bad for her. Like her situation is so tragic, and then to have basically Eric and Eric's fiance kind of be this girl's parental figures, and then go through this tragedy just sucks.
Yeah, she lives in a city with no hope, and the only hope she had is now dead.
Yeah. See, I guess that's another Batman similarity, because that's what this city reminds me of. It reminds me of what Gotham is supposed to be. Like when you see the movie Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, like that's what Gotham is like. I don't like those weird freeze frames.
1 year later.
Yes.
Ironically so, the movie came out about 1 year after Brandon Lee died.
Oh, man. Honestly, I think the parallels between the real life with Brandon Lee and the stuff we're seeing in this is what's the most scary thing.
Yeah. And not just, there's so many odd parallels just surrounding that whole situation. These shots are beautiful. Like, the guy who directed this movie just did an amazing job.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, the shots are all really good.
Hold on 1 second. Are you leaving?
Where's the power cord to the PS4? What'd you do with that?
I'm sorry?
What'd you do with the power cord to the PS4?
I said it's right there. It's right there. Eric Draven. This movie really clung on to the subculture of goth. I think goth
It really did, yeah.
finally had a name after this movie. Somebody watched this movie and said, "That's right, I'm going to make Hot Topic."
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, okay, so coming to this party late, the first time I watched this, I just went, wow, this is a very 90s goth kind of grunge movie. Like, it really had that whole, I remember that from the 90s, and it really caught it.
But I could definitely see the similarities with the whole Batman parallel. Like, it does feel like a good Batman movie with a different character, you know?
It does. Honestly, if Tim Burton got to keep making those Batman movies back in the 90s before they decided they wanted them light and cartoony, I could see Tim Burton kind of heading darker and darker and kind of going in this direction.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, it'd have its Tim Burton kind of silliness to it. I mean, just look at Batman Returns, but I could see kind of the themes being darker as it goes.
Well, Batman Returns is one of those movies that, like, I loved it.
Yep.
And I was just talking to Aaron White about this. When I did my review series for Batman, I realized how not great that story was for Batman Returns. Like nothing comes together. Nothing makes sense.
It's true.
It's just things just add together. Like, why is Selena Kyle not after, Shrek this entire time until the very end of the movie? Right. Like, it's very, very odd. Anyway, we're not watching that movie.
No, we are not. Which I have plenty of thoughts on why things did not come together right at the end of that movie, but we could get into that later. Maybe we could do a watch party.
Put it in a watch party, Ben.
Yeah. I will say something that I really do like is the concept of the crow. Like, it's just kind of interesting, like wherever this crow shows up and how they use the crow. Now, this is weird, though, because all I could think is how shallow is this grave? He's definitely not 6 feet under, Steve.
Maybe it's not how shallow the grave is as much as how deep his passion is to get out. I don't know. I tried to reach there.
It was a valiant reach. I mean, of all the things to nitpick, who cares if that grave is shallow or not? I mean, it's a corrupt city. They probably didn't believe in giving him the full 6 feet, so who cares?
So actually, the crow is not the only entity that Eric Draven's supposed to interact with during this movie. There was actually scenes that he hadn't shot yet. It was I forget the name of the character, like Skullface or something like this, that would actually explains a big loophole in this movie. Like why does Eric Draven lose his powers, during the third act of this film?
Right.
And it's explained by this one scene that was supposed to be in the movie where this guy warns him, once you completed your vengeance, you have to return back to the grave.
Oh.
And so when he kills the last guy, he's supposed to return back to the grave, but Sarah was kidnapped, so he didn't, and that's why he lost his powers.
Well, that would have made that way more. Like, I mean, I understand why they wouldn't have filmed it because he was not around, but like that would have made so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they shot it and all this stuff, but like it just didn't work out.
They did shoot it.
Yeah, they ended up shooting it, but with somebody else besides Brandon Lee, and it just didn't work out. I think it got the cutting room floor just for time constraints and stuff. But there is a character that's supposed to be in this that kind of fills that void, of why that happened.
Well, that makes sense, and it makes it even more intense when the girl here is kidnapped at the end. So
and that's why he gets his powers back, because when he learns that the guy who did the kidnapping is the one who put out the hit, then he gets his powers back because he has one more life to take out. So,
well, that does close a really huge loophole.
Yeah.
Now, I saw some special features thing, and that is not Brandon Lee, correct? Like that is one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those shots. There's a couple of shots where they actually put Brandon Lee's face over the actor.
They could thank Jurassic Park for that. I think Jurassic Park was the first movie that figured out how to do that, and then they started doing more and more of that in movies.
Jurassic Park did that?
Yeah, there was so when the Velociraptor it hits Lex when she's in the vent and she falls and she's hanging on, that was a stunt woman. So she's hanging on to the ledge of the vent, and the stunt woman accidentally looked up at the camera. So they took the actor's face, copied and pasted it over the stunt woman's face, so it looks like it's Lex who looks up at the camera instead of the stunt woman. So
I never knew that.
Broke a lot of ground for movies.
Yeah, a lot of this shot in this sequence here was a double. When he's flipping on the in the window, when he's putting on the makeup, that's not him either.
Gotcha.
Like him falling right there. Yeah.
Did I miss something in the fact, why is there still crime scene tape up on that door a year later?
I think it's probably just been abandoned. I mean, who wants to rent an apartment where there was a horrible rape and double murder?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Beautiful apartment, though.
It is a beautiful apartment.
See, this movie is so stuck in the 90s with, just how it's shot. But it's like, to me, it's right up there with Bad Boys. Bad Boys is such a 90s movie.
Yes.
But it works. Like it's forever capitalized. Capsulized. I can't say the word.
Capsulized, yeah.
Thank you. Like in the 90s.
Now, it's funny because, so the first time I'm watching this, I kind of was distracted by kind of the 90s-ness of it all, because the way this is edited and the flashes and all that, it's so 90s.
Yes,
At the same time, though, it is really intense. Like, it does do a decent job of just showing you kind of the violence of this situation. And then his body going through that muscle memory.
That was a stunt double with his face on top.
Interesting. I did kind of wonder why he jumped out the window, swung, and came back in. It's a great shot, though. I just why he did it.
he's reliving that moment. He was reliving that moment in flashbacks, but like instead of falling, he was able to swing back. I kind of get it. Yeah, it was a good shot. That's
why are they swallowing bullets?
Because they're drug addicted idiots, Durbin.
Oh, I know, but like, I mean, there just comes a point where you think sense has to come in at some point. Maybe it's just one of those things where you're just like, wow, those guys really are jerks. They're swallowing bullets. Go get them, Draven.
I mean, I think that's the point. I mean, you motherfucking bond, man. There's a reason why you wanted to do this on my channel.
Yeah, there is a reason. Yes. Oh man.
Oh, speaking of Bad Boys, I didn't think about this, but that chick is also in Bad Boys. Sarah's mom.
It's been a while since I've seen Bad Boys, so I don't remember who she was in that one.
Yeah, she looks exactly the same. Like, no different.
I'll have to go back and rewatch that. I've only seen all the Bad Boys movies like one time through. Okay, so when I say cartoony over the top, I mean scenes like that. So there's two reasons these bad guys tick me off. One, they're just really bad and they're complete jerks and I don't like them. But two, some of those little moments are so over the top for me. I'm just like, I don't like that.
But that's where this suspension of disbelief of understanding that this is a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And like, I think this director was ballsy enough to actually do that, and portray what came off the page onto the screen.
It's funny because I'm the outsider coming in, I think like to me, it kind of just stands out. But to follow what you're saying, when I watch Batman 1989, I have that suspension of disbelief. And when it gets a little comic booky, it's like, I don't care. I can accept it. It's a comic book. So it's like, I get it. But
I've grown to love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's because like this didn't have that same effect on me. And I didn't come into this till I was in my 30s. I think that's why it stands out a little bit more. But I get what you're saying. And I can't argue with it. It still bugs me though when they're so over the top.
Again, it's just one of those things. You miss the bus on it. I see the over the top stuff, and I'm just like, nostalgia.
I see over the top stuff here, and I'm like, just get him, Draven. My gosh, I'm done. Get him.
Now, as much as I enjoy this, like the whole concept of this scene of him like quickly finding himself, his identity, and like how he did it.
Yeah,
it is a little forced in there. Like, oh, I'm going through this detrimental, flashbacks. Let me put on this makeup.
Yeah, I kept wondering things while I was watching this, right? Because there's a lot of scenes where I feel like things are cut together really fast, and I feel like we're kind of montaging through something that I want to sit with more because it's character building. So, like you said, here he is doing this makeup, and it feels a little forced. And I'm like, now, is it like that because of the tragic death of Brandon Lee? So they had to do what they had to do, and that's why
That's a good point because a lot of this is reshot with a different actor.
And so I've been back and forth on that because it's like, on the one hand, I feel like that's forced or this went too fast. But then on the other hand, this sympathy part jumps up and goes, but is that because they lost their actor? Like, so that's what I keep wondering when I see these things. And so I'm kind of torn between like, why is he doing that? And then, well, they probably didn't have all the time in the world to go back and fill in with the story, those explanations,
Yeah. See, this is such a beautiful shot.
Though. I like that shot. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I could just see Batman kneeling with his cape draping in the wind right now.
Yes, I can. 100%. But that is a great reveal,
Yeah.
That montage, though, of him putting on the makeup is so 90s. I hate this guy. Oh, I can't stand him.
Which one?
The pawnbroker. I can't stand him. I don't know why. He's one of the people that just super annoys me.
Well, maybe that's his purpose, right? I don't think you're supposed to.
So which means they did it right.
I don't think you're supposed to be rooting for him.
Well, yeah, I would never root for them, but
I am really bothered coming up in the scene when his only reaction is "shit on me."
Oh my gosh! I was
a weird
it this afternoon, and I was like, seriously? The guy who's about to kill you, and those are the words you're going to get out? That just doesn't, no. That music
Oh.
is so 80s/90s.
It's super 90s. I love the soundtrack to this movie. This movie is actually what helped put Stone Temple Pilots on the map.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they weren't really too well known, but they got their first hit on this movie, and then they took off from there.
That's all it takes. One good hit.
So during production, like a lot of this movie was filmed in like sub-zero temperatures and
Oh, man.
you know, the set rain and all this stuff. So like everybody was pretty much miserable all the time, especially Brandon Lee, because he was in this thin shirt or often in no shirt.
You know, that does stink. And if I was an actor in that position, I wouldn't like it. On the other hand, it does get them in that mental state because I feel like the way they were feeling then is how the city feels all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good point.
So I have mixed feelings about this where he jumps off the roof here. Because
does he do a superhero landing?
I wish he did a superhero landing. It's funny because okay, so this shot where he does the laugh. On the one hand, I don't really like the shot, and I don't really like the laugh, right? I don't know why. On the other hand, when it cuts to this other dude and he's hearing the laugh, I like that. Like, that's creepy. But for some reason, I don't like that shot right there.
Well, yeah, I can see what you're saying. I think it's also adding to the just reminding the audience that this guy, he's just now learning that he can literally jump off a building and be perfectly fine.
Yeah. And I feel like I get that. There's just still something about that shot that is not my favorite. But I love this, the crow through the fire. Like, that looks awesome. I think the thing I like about this fight scene is that you really do see that Eric is kind of learning his abilities and his limitations. And
a little bit, but like what I see that Brandon Lee really brought to the table here is he's there for vengeance. You know, like every action, everything he does screams that.
It's very true.
Yeah.
There's an element of it that's kind of, and here I'm doing a very 21st century comparison, that's very John Wick, because when you watch Keanu Reeves and John Wick, every move he makes is very calculated, precise, and vengeance completely.
Oh, see, just the way he talks about what happened to her makes me cringe, man. I mean, like, these people deserve to die. You know, there is no, hey, he's a good guy. Why is he killing bad guys? He should be the better man. No, that his whole purpose is to come back and seek vengeance on everybody.
Yeah, and they really did a good job with that, with the dialogue, so that when this guy is saying the stuff that he's saying, it's like, oh yeah, there is no remorse there. It's like he would do it again to somebody else, and it's like the devil. What is it? What do they call it? The Devil's Day. It's like their holiday, their Christmas. Ugh.
What was that? What'd you ook about?
Oh, him licking the blood off the knife.
Oh, okay.
It's not a bad ugh. It was, the movie made me ugh because you're supposed to.
Now, this is a super 90s shot for sure.
Yep.
God, man, if I were in high school again, I probably would have dated that chick.
Hey, I knew you in high school. There's no probably about it. You would have dated her. In fact, I could see you up there playing guitar with her.
Oof. Jeez Louise. So many things I want to say that I'm just not going to record on Film Trigger forever. Oh, this is the warehouse.
Oh, the Shredder warehouse. Sweet.
Yeah, where Shredder. Where Shredder's introduced in Ninja Turtles. Yeah, this is the same warehouse. Candyman can.
Those glasses are very strange on that dude's head.
You know who that is, don't you?
No, who is that?
It's the Candyman.
I haven't seen the Candyman.
Oh,
That's one of the movies I got to catch up on.
that's why I sang that song. The Candyman can.
Well, that makes sense why you sang that song there.
I've watched this.
About his glasses.
I've watched this movie a million times. I never noticed there was nudity there ever, not once. Is that weird?
It's weird because it doesn't like super draw your attention to it. If that makes sense.
Like I see that butt.
Yeah,
I didn't see the other butt. Never noticed that.
I found
This
it
whole-
very weird, the revelation that they're brother and sister. I mean, this is Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones, and it's still wrong.
It's so you could make a prequel just about these two.
I would not watch that though.
Well, like he reminds me of like a Dracula type of guy. You know, like he reminds me of that same presence. Like he would have done good as a Dracula, I think. Yeah,
why wasn't he? I've seen him in lots of other things. Why would
I've only seen him in a couple of other things. He was in that Kevin Costner movie Robin Hood. He played
He was
the bad guy.
I've only seen that one a few times, and it's mostly funny because when Kevin Costner forgets he's British.
He never He never, not once, has an accent in that movie. So I've heard a couple of people say, "Oh, he's in and out of his accent." And I'm like,
no. The reason he's in and out of his accent is because it's briefly in the very beginning for a scene or two.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and that's
I just never caught it.
So, like, seriously, 95% of the movie, he doesn't have it. And so people are latching on to that brief period where he did, and then just, I guess, went, screw it, I'm not doing this.
Hey, Kevin, are you gonna not do the accent? Okay, good.
See, so, like, seeing this, like, this girl's mom, I think it's a great setup for when, Draven comes in and like pretty much sets her free. Like as she says, somebody woke her up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because like it's very cool symbolism when you think about it. Because throughout this whole movie, when you see her like here, like even as she's talking, she's in that drug stupor, and she's in that stupor until Draven like touches her arm, and you see the crack come out.
That's the that guy that she's on. What's his name? Happy Time or something like that.
Yeah.
Fun Boy. Fun Boy is his name.
Yes.
He's the one that actually shot Brandon Lee.
Yeah. Every time I see him, my heart breaks for that actor.
Yeah.
So this is where he cut his hand.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to try to see if I could see where he would have done it. Probably not there.
It would have been. It's going to be obvious, Durbin, when he breaks the glass. That must be it right there. That's where he cut his hand.
There it is.
See, I think they cut that out because I think he.
Yeah.
I think he like took his hand and like brushed away the rest of the glass.
If you could wrap your mind around liking Lord of the Rings in the Two Towers, there's this scene where the guy who plays Aragorn, he kicks this helmet and he falls to his knees screaming with rage.
Oh, I've read about that. He actually broke his toe, right?
He actually broke his toe.
Yeah.
See that shot right there, close up on his face? I could definitely go, I think Heath Ledger really took inspiration for his Joker after this. And I'm wondering if, since the Joker was so about chaos, if that's where it all came from, like his character came from this.
I mean, I could see that being a thing, where Heath Ledger would get some inspiration, but at the same time, when you are somebody with this integrity of destruction and murdering people, like what? Maybe it's very possible that they could have just kind of slipped into the same realm mentally. You know what I mean?
Right.
As opposed to just like Heath Ledger, copying I don't.
Oh,
Or
he
being.
didn't copy. He didn't
I
copy,
said
but
the wrong
they-
word. I meant being inspired or taking
Yeah.
some influence from it. But I could see either one. Absolutely. But
Well,
like you
especially
say that.
line at the end where he says, "Let's put a smile on that face." Well, he didn't say it just like that, but he said something about putting a smile on the face, and I went, "Oh gosh." I mean, we'll get to that line when we get there, but I was like, "Wow!" So they must have taken some inspiration.
Your wife says you always tell people about the toe, Durbin.
Yes, I do, Laura. Get over it. Get over it. She's saying that because even when we rewatched the movie, I just recently got him on 4K. I said it again, but I can't help it. It's awesome. And when I know the behind the scenes stories, I can't help but share it, even if you've already heard it, Laura.
Thank you for joining us in the comments section, Laura. We're lonely down there.
I was just especially happy when he burned down this pawn shop.
See, one thing I really like about this part here is he ends up closing his eyes as he's searching for the ring. I thought that was a neat.
It is. Well, it's
neat little
because
thing.
it gives it that spiritual sense, right? Like in I guess in this like spirit realm, he's picking up the thoughts and the memories and
Yeah, because that's what happens right there. Boom.
so it's funny because like I do like how he experiences these memories, but there's just a few times where he's like reliving the memories where I feel like, are your emotions too big? Like when he touches the cop's mind and sees his fiancée dying and experiences her pain, like I probably have a big reaction. I mean, you know me, I would have a big reaction, but there's something about seeing him like, wow, was that too big or was that just right?
Well, they touch base on it when he kills the bad guy at the end.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just visually experiencing it, he was physically feeling all the pain she went through all at once.
Yeah.
Like everything she went through for all that time that she was in the hospital, he got all of that at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what he told the dude as he was taking it. He's like, "Do you feel that? You're getting all of it." You know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that could
we just jumped in. We are 30 minutes and 27 seconds in if you want to watch it with us. Yeah, I just keep going back and forth because like sometimes I feel like his reactions are really big, but at the same time it does work because he's not just remembering, he's feeling as he's remembering. But the interesting concept with that is like all this pain that he's feeling, like, you know, when we're going through pain and suffering, it sucks. But by the end of this movie, it gets redeemed. Like he has it for a purpose and it ends up defeating the enemy, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I love this shot.
I do too.
All the wedding rings. This movie is just it's so poetic. Just like what you said, you know, your comparison of, you know, him going through that and then returning it to the bad guy.
Yeah.
They're just everything about this movie just has such a poetic justice to it.
Yeah, it's like the themes that pop up go somewhere. It's like it's not just left in one scene or something. Like this right here. Like how depressing is it to see this girl left alone in a bar as her mom in this stupor goes up the stairs, but we have this amazing redeeming moment. So like kind of the sadness of what we're watching is building to this pretty cool victory pretty soon.
So now we have that Batman Commissioner Gordon relationship.
I thought that same thing with this. You know, Steve, for some reason, when he took that guitar, it reminded me of you.
for some reason, I just can't figure out why. I still have the guitar you bought me.
Oh, yeah.
Or you gave to me. It's actually right. Let me see if I can do this without messing things up. It's right there in the studio. The pink guitar.
Oh, yep, there it is. Yep. I remember that. That was fun.
You signed the back of it for me because I was certain you were going to be famous.
And now here we are, both famous YouTubers.
I'd like to thank all 453 of my fans. Thank you. And the one who was 454 the other day, fuck you. You're gone.
Oh, man. Oh, we have another person who joined us. So if you want to watch the movie with us, we are 33 minutes and 13 seconds in. We are watching The Crow.
On HBO Max.
Yes. Well, Steve is on, what, Voodoo?
I'm on
Voodoo.
Voodoo. Yeah, because I bought the fucking thing.
Well, don't you want to own it anyway? You never know when it's going to be taken off HBO Max. You never know.
Right,
but own it.
But just like, what's the chances it was on HBO Max while we were doing this, and I bought this last week?
Well, the first time I watched this movie, because you requested it for me, was not on HBO Max. And I watched it on Amazon and went, oh, I don't know. I'm not on fire for this movie, and I don't know what to say about it.
I requested it from you, and you're like, yeah, Steve, no. I'm like, okay, well, cool.
It's such a cult classic, and I wasn't in love with it. And you know how the internet is when you disagree. I mean, of course, I disagree with people all the time on the internet, but, you know. This is one of those sacred cows, you know.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's cool. I just, you know, I'm your paid patron, but you know, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Oh boy,
these two are so creepy. Not the two that just walked in, the brother and sister.
Well, half sister, technically.
Oh, that makes it so much better. Oh, wow.
Well, I don't think it makes it better as much as it's not as bad. I don't know. Like, it's his dad's daughter, so like at least she doesn't look like his mom, you know?
Oh boy. Yes.
Oof. I don't like the fact that he does drugs too.
Right. If he's the leader, you know, shouldn't he just be the pusher, not the taster?
Yeah, random terminology I didn't know you knew. Yeah,
I watch movies, Steve. I watch movies.
I feel like it takes away from his character a little bit.
Yeah, but he never gets high, apparently. He's just he always seems to have his calm and coolness about him.
I don't know. We don't see him not high, so we don't know what he's like when he's not high.
That could just be what he's like when he's high. Good point. I do feel bad for this girl. Like, her situation just sucks.
Yeah. I guess in a sense, since we're doing a whole bunch of parallels here, like with Batman, I told you before that I had this concept of a Batman comic book a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
And I never really thought of it until just now, but she would actually fall into the category of where I had Harley Quinn in that comic book. I had Harley Quinn as a lost orphan who was being haunted by I don't know if you want to call it schizophrenia or just losing her mind in another way, but she was being haunted by the spirit of Joker.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
now, real quick, that scene right there where he says it doesn't rain all the time.
Yeah,
we learn later that refers to a song that he wrote, but I wish he knew that before he said the line.
Well, I think it's one of those things like you're supposed to like discover it with her because she knows, she recognizes it, but now she has to go find out if she was right. You know, maybe I misheard. Yeah. Maybe so. Now we kind of learn what's about.
That's true. But even when she's listening to the song, you know, this is so filled with 90s music. I didn't realize that it was Eric Draven's song while she was listening to it until it's like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Fair enough. I mean,
I'm not trying. That's a nitpick. That's not me. Like,
no. It makes perfect sense. You want everything told out to you flat. You might as well just, you know.
No.
Let's let Marvel make the Crow next, huh?
If Marvel makes the Crow next, it's gonna be like full of colors and hilarious and bad jokes.
It'd be like Underworld.
Oh, there you go. So it'll all have this Matrix looking feel to it.
Right, exactly. Man, I can't tell you, like, how sick and tired I am of leather wearing, ninja fighting vampires. Like, I'm done with that. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it. Those aren't vampires.
No. Well, I mean,
want my-
I like the underworld movies. I do. They're fun, guilty pleasure movies, but I get what you're talking about. You reach this point where it's like, okay, whatever. We did the Matrix to vampires. Can we get back to vampires?
I want my Bela Lugosi. I want my Gary Oldman. I want my Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise vampires. Like, these are vampires. Then Blade came out, which Blade was good in its own right, but then everyone's like, oh, we could just make all the monsters ninjas. Let's do that.
Netflix did a really weird version of Dracula about 2 years ago. It was like this 3-parter.
Did they?
It was an interesting concept. It just wasn't executed that well.
I must have missed that one.
It's just called Dracula if you go on Netflix and search it. It was weird.
So this is the scene, right?
I thought it was a flashback scene, like that ended up not making it in the movie. Obviously. I
thought it was
wrong. It's not like I know.
I'm not sure either. I can't remember what scene it was. I thought it was like, I've also thought it was that flashback scene. I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But like, when they said that this guy is the one that shot him, my mind immediately just went to this scene because he has the gun. He points it at him. And the gun he pulls out is the gun that does it.
Yeah.
Because that gun, that same gun was used multiple times throughout this movie. And that's the one that kills him.
So I really can't say with a surety, but that one documentary I saw, I felt like my impression was it was one of the flashback scenes where he walked in the door and then his character gets murdered. And that was when he actually got shot, which is also part of like that crazy art imitating life thing that we were talking about earlier.
I love this. So how do you think this would have taken with the reboot that was supposed to happen with Jason Momoa, but it never came to fruition? Jason Momoa, and not only that, it was actually written from the guy who created The Crow.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I feel about that. And maybe it's because now that I've seen this, it's like I can't picture another actor doing this. And so I don't know what I would think of Jason Momoa in this role. Either way, that'd be a dangerous thing to reboot because, this is such a love version of the movie. And the sequels did not do as well at all.
No, not at all. And as a matter of fact, the writer of the comic also wrote the sequel to one of the sequels, City of Angels, which did okay. Then
now,
the
was
other
it the same character, or did they make it a different character?
No, it's different character.
Okay.
I think where this franchise shit the bed was when Edward Furlong.
Oh no.
Yeah, Edward Furlong played the Crow. Oh yeah, it's bad, laughable, and I've never watched the whole thing. I just seen bits and pieces, but like, oof, like it's not even worth of a. I wouldn't imagine it being worth a bad movie night watch party.
Yeah,
there's a difference between fun bad movie and just like what is this
bad movie? Yep, definitely. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This like awesome redemption moment, and I love his line here that, what is it? Mother is the name for God on the lips of little children.
Yeah.
I love that line. And I love this moment where he kind of wakes her up. There it is. That's the
line. This power here was not in the comics. He didn't have that. Something they added just for the movie.
Yeah, but it fits. Like,
yeah. It's not that's not a negative critique at all.
Yeah. So even where I've been iffy on this movie here and there, like I always thought that was an incredible moment where like you could just kind of see the sobriety in her face in that moment, and she's no longer in that kind of fog.
he did a reverse Freddy Krueger and
Yeah.
Dream Warriors. He stabs a girl with the drugs.
Oh, see, I didn't see Dream Warriors. I only saw the first one.
Oh,
Cody Leach has dared me to do a whole thing on all those movies. So we'll see what happens when we get to Halloween.
listen. If you do, I want to do a live watch party of Dream Warriors. I want to do that with you.
We can do that for sure.
Okay.
I thought the first Freddy Krueger was fun. It's kind of funny, again, being the outsider, watching it for the first time, going, "This is so 80s," and some of it just cracked me up. On the other hand, I'm like, but this is good. Like, I understand why it's such a classic.
Well, the thing about the third one is like where everything about Freddy mythology comes together. You know how sometimes in movie franchises it takes like a movie or two before you actually get the character? Yeah, this is that's what Nightmare the Dream Warriors is. That's the moment we finally get the best Freddy. Like he is what he is moving forward through all the rest of the films.
Okay. And you said that's the third one.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
The second one we just kind of ignore.
I keep hearing that.
Listen, I understand why, but I think if you're going to do a remake of this franchise, I would remake the second one just a little bit better because the concept of it is great.
Didn't they do one about, what is this? This is 2021. Didn't they do one in like 2010? So like 11 years ago where they tried to remake it or something?
They tried to remake the first one.
Okay.
And they did. No. Oh, no. Okay. It has its parts. It has its moments, but it doesn't have it. It doesn't have it. There's a lot of
this in the soul.
Yeah. And how are you going to make a slasher movie and have it have less blood in it? I don't know. That's the point of a slasher movie. I was watching this.
Still wearing his hat.
I said that out loud the other night, and I was so happy when Eric Draven said it too.
It's such a great little line, but like I was watching this with Laura for that first time. What was that, 6 months ago or something? And I just like, we were both like, why is he still wearing his hat? And when he said that line, we're like, okay, good. At least the movie's acknowledging that.
I wonder if Aaron White's at work.
He probably is at work.
He's at Taco Bell, isn't he? That's where he works.
So. That's where he works.
It's Friday night, I'm sure.
So maybe he'll join us for our live review tomorrow.
Probably. I'm sure we'll see him when he goes on break.
Oh, we definitely will. The live watch party, he didn't even hit play with the movie. He could just tell by our conversation exactly where we were, and then was like in time with it in his head. It was impressive.
Oh, that was for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live watch party?
I think so, yeah. Of course, I could do that with Ninja Turtles. That movie is so good.
Yeah, it is.
I love talking about Ninja Turtles while we're watching The Crow.
We've talked about 5 other movies while watching this one.
I know, it's wonderful. Okay, so this is where, like, I look at that and I go, okay, that reaction. On the one hand, like, I'm like, what is that? But on the other hand, it's like, I get it. The pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have mixed feelings about that reaction. Like, maybe it's just how he performed it, but I understand what it's trying to communicate, and I like what it's communicating.
Yeah, I kind of differ with you on that in the sense that, like, and I guess I understand it because I've seen the end of this movie.
Yes.
Where he explains you're getting all the pain at once. Knowing that, watching this, that reaction makes sense. If this was a first watch, then yeah, okay. Oh, he saw something he didn't want to see. Why is he reacting that way? But like, no, I can see both sides of it. But knowing, I mean, this movie's how old? You know, like, y'all should know how.
27 years old. It's almost 30.
Y'all should know how this movie ends. So
yeah. Well, I guess since I'm still new to it, like Aaron White on Facebook gave this great, big, long explanation as to why he loves this movie. So I watched it this afternoon, just kind of again through my fresh eyes. Now I'm trying to watch this through Aaron's eyes because of that great big thing that he wrote about why he loves this movie. It's helping me a lot because it's getting me to the mind of a fan and why they're so attached to it. And like you said, it's like, yeah, that reaction makes sense when you know the ending because he's feeling the pain and not just reeling at a vision. And I don't know. It's like it's setting in for me, but there's still like those initial reaction moments I had when I was first watching this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, Durbin, like when it comes to movies like this, these movies that attract, you know, more depressed type of people. Sometimes they relate to the lead character. I've known you for years. I've never known you to be that type of person. You've known me for years. You know that I can come in and out of being this type of person. You know, I can go through depression and things like that. So like there might be that element that might not be what's connecting. I'm not trying to call you out.
And you know what? That's very true. And it's not, and I've dealt with anxiety. I've had moments where I felt depressed, but I think from what you're talking about, there's certain things that these characters have dealt with that maybe I haven't experienced. And so there's an element of connection that I don't quite have, but others who've been there are connecting 100%. I do like this scene because we get rid of this guy.
I don't know. If they ever made another Mario Brothers movie, and they made one with a guy that was supposed to play Wario.
That is Wario.
That is Wario. Hey, Aaron White, what's up, my dudes? I want a short break. I told you he would hit us up on his break.
Aaron, Steve said it. He said you would be joining us on your break.
Yeah, we figured you're at Taco Bell doing your thing, man. Well,
Aaron,
thank you.
Right at the scene where the pawnbroker's about to be stabbed through the throat.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, come on. If somebody's joining us in this watch party, they've seen this movie.
Says the man that's only seen this movie 1.5 times.
Okay, yes, that's very true.
One of those times being on his phone in his car, pissed off that he locked his keys in his house.
We almost made it this whole review without that story coming up. Oh, man.
Well, that shows your integrity. That shows your drive to do things like this. You wanted to be prepared, so you miserably sat in that California heat in your car.
Locked out of my house.
Locked out of your house. Watch this movie on your phone.
Yeah.
Shaking your head going, why did I do this? Why did I agree to do this? Hey, Aaron, you going to be joining us for our live review tomorrow? It's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that it?
It's 12 p.m. my time, 3 p.m. your time, unless I need to set it earlier.
Oh, 3 p.m. Okay, 3 p.m. my time. All right.
Yeah.
Whew, I would have been early.
But Aaron's in my time zone, so noon our time, Aaron.
Okay. I think that's where I got like the 1 o'clock. I had your time stuck in my head. I love this guitar riff that he plays here.
I do too. And again, Steve, I thought of you. Every time I've watched this movie, and the 1.5 times that I've seen it, and I heard this guitar riff, I'm like, Steve.
It does sound like something I would play while I'm, just sat on a rooftop. So
now that looks like a double. That doesn't look like him.
That's a double.
Yeah, that's what
that is a double. But that shot with all the buildings and stuff in the background, that was on the back of our thumbnail for this, by the way.
Oh, nice.
He don't start till 3 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, Aaron White can join us for our live review on Durbin's channel. And if you
an epic review.
And if there's anybody watching that's not already subscribed to Durbania, you can get the link to that in the description of this video. And become a Durbanian.
Yes.
Or
I
a
feel
film.
like now that I know, I can hear that's Brandon Lee's voice playing on the record.
Is it?
I don't know.
Did he do the music?
Honestly, that's the impression I picked up, but I don't know. But that's nice that the record froze right there. I didn't notice that till this watch, that the record got stuck right there. Doesn't rain all the time, and I'd never noticed that before.
Aaron White asks, "Can I really play Dream Warriors by Dokken?" No, I never said I could.
But Steve was really good at the guitar and played it a lot when we were in high school.
It's what I did. It's what I do for a part-time job now, and did full-time for 3 years. But Cody Leach can play Dokken.
Okay, this dude right here with the beanie on his head,
or Dream Warriors by Dokken.
I can't stand him. I can't stand him. He's irritating.
Well, like, he's a tweaker. That's what he is in the group. He's the tweaker. He's like. So. Have you ever seen 8 Mile?
No.
God damn it, Durbin. Okay. There's in 8 Mile, there's a guy who accidentally shoots himself in the leg. You ever watch 8 Mile, just know that like that's a typecast character, and that's what that character is. He's the tweaker. He's the guy that's a little goofy, always kind of fucking up.
Now that's a great shot when the crow lands on the top of that dude's engine.
No, Aaron, I Cheddar Bob. Oh yeah, Cheddar Bob. That's right. That's in 8 Mile. Or is that this guy? I can't remember. They both have ridiculous names. No, I didn't say I could play Dream Warriors. I said I love the song by Dokken. I love that song by Dokken. No, I can't play it though. But in Cody Leach's review, he actually plays it at the beginning of his review for that movie.
How does Cody Leach play it and not get a copyright claim?
He may have gotten a copyright claim.
He may have. I mean, I know he's actually playing it, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, not on YouTube, but on Facebook, Dokken Official took down my. I put a little clip of Dokken playing that, like on my review from my review, and put it on there, and yeah, they had it taken down.
Oh gosh. Yeah, they're pretty serious, even with fair use when it comes to music. Like that stuff gets claimed or taken down.
Well, it wasn't even my review of it. Actually, I was doing my favorite movie soundtracks, and
I feel bad for that cop. That hurts with the hot coffee.
So this scene, like the conclusion of this scene, is so powerful to me. Like it's that moment when the bad guy can't even grasp what's happening to him. He's like, no, this doesn't. That you're not supposed to come back. There's no coming back. You know, you die, and that's it. You know, it's a revelation for him. I think his kind of, you know, drug addict twerkiness works very well in that moment.
Yeah. But you're right, because that moment where he's like, the dead don't come back, like it's that moment of just like raw fear. Because he's about to be killed by a guy who was dead and yet is alive standing in front of him.
Yeah, it's his judgment right there. You know, he's getting and the actor that plays him just did such a good job, like showing that fearful emotion.
I think so.
I love this character.
It cracks me up later when he's talking to the boss, and the boss is like, "We should be filming this."
Yeah,
play it back in slow motion.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. I feel like the majority of us have had friends like that.
Well, I do know when I was in high school, I was 10 times more energetic than I am right now.
Oh,
and I'm pretty energetic right now.
That was you all the fucking time. You just jumped up and down.
Yeah, minus the drugs. It was just natural. That's what I did. I jumped all the time.
Yellow. Oh, flashback.
So, okay, help me understand this, because I think I'm starting to put this together. And so correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the bad guys own this city, and that's why they burn it down every Halloween, and were the bad guys trying to evict them out of that apartment for some reason?
Hold on. I love this part. There ain't no coming back. It seems something like that. I think it was more of a warning. I don't know. Like, you kind of caught me off guard. I'm not exactly sure.
I've always been trying to put that together, like, because they said eviction notice. I'm like, are they joking around, coming in to murder them, or are they like seriously owning this town and trying to claim this place?
Yeah, I've never ever thought that it was an actual like eviction.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I ever thought they legitly owned that building, but they own that town, like organized crime, and that's kind of what I was wondering. But yeah. That hurt. Well, actually, maybe he was too dead before it hurt. Who knows?
No, I'm sure he's fine. Maybe Aaron White knows. I don't know if he's still watching, but Aaron, do you know what made the bad guys go into that apartment? I know he explains it at some point. The main bad dude. I know he explains it at some point, or explains somewhat of it.
But I can't. Back and forth where Eric and his fiancée targeted, if they were targeted for a specific reason,
yeah,
why they would remember her and they would remember killing him.
I'm trying to remember because I know they say it, so we'll get the answer, but I can't remember what that answer is.
Here we come to Devil's. See, they did it right. The apostrophe. How come the movie didn't do it right?
Budget constraints. They just couldn't afford that apostrophe.
I guess not. This is one of those like simple scenes that I like, because it's like you see the mom now like restored and now trying something she never did before, and it's just cool to see.
Right, and the daughter's like, "Oh, great. What did you take?"
Yep. It's kind of that moment where she's been let down so many times, she's not prepared to be taken in again. Those eggs are making me very hungry.
Well, at least they're real eggs, unlike Batman v Superman.
Oh, man, that bugs me every time he's making those eggs. I'm like, why?
Is it that hard just to put real fucking eggs in the damn thing?
I mean, I know you do multiple takes, and maybe they don't want to spend money on lots of eggs, but my gosh, it's just eggs. They can't be that expensive. Put them in the dang fryer.
Somebody's got to watch the dish. I never understood what this police officer's problem is.
Are you talking about the detective?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got something up his butt. Like, he's just a jerk in the beginning, and you don't really know what it is.
Well, they touch base with it like the police officer did something.
Yeah. I feel like they said it earlier, and I think we were talking, so I missed it. And then I was in my car today watching it on my phone, so I missed it there too. But there's something there. And this guy's a jerk. And I love how our favorite cop here, our Commissioner Gordon, does a good job kind of just mouthing off to him. Makes me happy.
I'm an equal opportunity egg eater, Aaron. I will eat them over easy, sunny side up, over medium, scrambled. I'll take my eggs any way I can get them.
Same. I love eggs. I love breakfast food. So
actually, there's sometimes I will take an over easy egg and put it on top of scrambled eggs because I like them both.
Oh, that sounds really good. Oh man, if I wasn't hungry before, I'm hungry now. Oh, I'm gonna try that next time.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds, man. Aaron's a scrambled guy.
Well, I don't blame you, Aaron. I do like him scrambled.
But as we were just saying, Clark Kent likes his sunny side up and plastic. So,
Well, I mean, he is Clark Kent. He could probably eat anything and it's not going to hurt him. So if he likes the taste of plastic, I guess all the power to him.
unlike Vision, who can eat a piece of gum and be completely destroyed and drunk.
That's right. It's like his kryptonite, only weirder.
God, that show's that first 3 episodes were rough.
They were rough, but like once you see what's going on, it makes them better.
Yeah, it's one of those. Okay, now I can go back and rewatch them and enjoy it a little bit more because I'm not constantly going, "What's happening?"
Yeah. It makes me sad when he's here burning a lot of those pictures and memories and kind of going through it.
Well, that's the point of this movie. This movie's supposed to make you sad, Durbin. So it's working.
Yes,
you hear that, Aaron White? Durbin is finally getting immersed emotionally into this film. Or you can,
since he knows he's going to die again in the end, I guess it makes sense that he would just burn it because who's going to keep it?
Aaron White says, or you can go crazy and just drink them raw, the eggs raw, like Rocky.
No. Or Sean Chandler. Did you see that video where Sean Chandler did that? He just cracked some eggs in a cup and drank them. Gross.
I mean, you can do that with pasteurized eggs.
No.
How's that any different than over easy? Come on.
I don't know. It feels better over easy. It's a mental thing. It's been in the fryer. It feels better. So, okay, is he just hiding here? And then when she kind of pulls the guilt strings a little bit, he's like, I do care.
Yeah, kind of. Like, I think she caught him at the wrong moment,
Right, and he's trying to compose himself, maybe. See, that is from your song. So that's why I assume it was his song. Why I could start to hear his voice. Could be a mental thing, though, when we were listening to that record.
Can't rain all the time. Can't rain all the time. Can't rain all the time. I had that same exact hairstyle.
Of the girl?
Yeah.
I can see you with that hairstyle. That must have been right before I knew you.
Yeah, I think I had that up until like my sophomore year.
I love that shot. Like, it might be a little cheesy, but I still love it. It's like that moment where the light comes in through the rain, through the clouds.
Yeah. Well, that's the shot in the backdrop that we have right now. I just put a different picture. I took Eric Draven out of it.
I don't like that weird freeze frame it does every once in a while because, like, just now I thought my HBO Max froze, but
it's one of those 90s things that they didn't really equate for HD being something in the future.
Right.
All right, Aaron. Thanks for joining. Why you did? We'll see you tomorrow for a review.
Yep, on Durbania, join us. See that line where the bad guy says, "We need to record this and play it back in slow motion." That cracks me up.
Fire it up. Fire it up. I'm not going to lie, Durbin. I've hung out with people like this.
Have you noticed our lead bad guy here? So I think he's in that Disney Three Musketeers movie, and he looks like he's still in it, the way he's dressed, and then the way he pulls out a sword in the end.
Well, and he was also in, as we said, Robin Hood. I think that just might be his thing, man.
Yeah, like there he is in a poet shirt, wearing the gloves, like he just looks like he's a dude right out of that movie. Like, I think it was in the 90s with Chris O'Donnell. They did that Three Musketeers movie.
Yeah.
So I'm still on set for that. Let me just keep this costume on, head over here, record those scenes. It's like, it's kind of what
Kiefer Sutherland was in that one.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. I forget the name of everybody else other than Chris O'Donnell and Kiefer Sutherland, but it was a good cast. So was she feeding the cat this entire year?
Let's not talk about what the cat ate.
Okay.
It may have fed off of dead birds and rats.
Well,
The fact that cat was still alive amazed me, but owning cats now, I kind of get it. They're very creative.
They are creative, yes. Another what I call Steve moment. Just
the person playing guitar here was actually Brandon Lee's guitar teacher.
oh, I was wondering because they don't show his face, so I was wondering.
Apparently, he didn't teach him well enough, so they had to use him.
Now, do you think is that Brandon Lee, or do you think that's the teacher?
No, that's I don't know. Honestly. Here comes some more of these 90 cut shots.
Yep.
See,
Sure.
I definitely right here you can see with that similarity with Batman. You know, they use those miniature sets and brought the camera in.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So yeah, this is the warehouse that the Ninja Turtles reveal of Shredder was.
That's amazing. Makes me love this scene now.
Like I'm trying to figure out where Shredder stood, you know?
Yes, like where were all the Foot Clan standing and all the kids like in
Well,
the bleachers?
you can see the bleachers on the side.
Yeah, but where like you said, where did Shredder come in? Where's his entrance? Show me. We're not there now. So I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so help me with my understanding here. He doesn't want to burn the city this year because it's not a novel thing anymore. And there's actual cards for it now. Happy Devil's Day. And he's like, oh, that's cute. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, since he started the city burning and now he wants to do something different. Like, I guess I never picked up. What is it he wants to do now? Or is he just quitting?
Well, let's hear what he has to say.
Oh, I guess listening is key, right?
Yeah, he's wanting to elevate the situation. He wants to do something new.
The only reason to quit.
Okay, what's the idea? Come on, spit it out.
Yes, I get it. What is your new idea? Go.
It's bothering the shit out of us, too.
Gosh, this feels like an actual staff meeting where nothing gets said, but you're still meeting anyway. Okay.
Yeah. What do you mean, what about it? You said you want to do something different, but you never told us what something different
That's why I was asking you what I asked you in the beginning. There's our greeting cards line. Come on.
Oh.
Come on, say it. Okay, I get it. You don't like that it's an institution. Move on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so apparently he wants them to have a bigger fire.
What does that even mean? You want to nuke the town? What is it?
He's like, hey, lighting the town on fire, that's for amateurs. But lighting the town with a really big fire, that's where we're headed.
Well, I'm glad I'm not alone now because, like, even this afternoon, I'm like, what is your big idea? You haven't defined this yet. Other than you want anarchy.
It's funny because, like, as much as I love this movie, I don't think I ever really paid too much attention to the details of it because you're asking me questions that I don't truly know the answer to, and I think I should. Oh, this isn't a Marvel movie. Okay.
The Avenger. Maybe he's the real first Avenger.
No. You know, something somebody told me about Captain America. Like, I know it makes sense, but I never understood the perspective of it until they brought it up to me. And that is, you have X-Men, right?
Right.
You have Wolverine. He's what, X10, and Deadpool's X11, and all this stuff. Captain America's X1.
Yeah, I think I heard you say that once, which is...
Oh, did I? Oh.
Yeah, well, I don't remember when, but I heard it somewhere, and I thought it was from you, but...
Probably.
That's a really awesome thought.
I'm an old man. I repeat myself.
It happens to the best of us. See, she has the idea there. See, that scene you talked about, that was deleted. We really could have used it. Because when the Crow gets injured in the church scene at the end, it's like, oh, he lost his powers because the Crow is injured, but the Crow wasn't dead. But then all of a sudden, he's got his powers back.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's
if your deleted scene that you mentioned was in there, that would make sense out of that.
And would have brought a whole new character into it. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm pretty okay with the fact that the Crow is the reason why he loses his powers.
Right.
But, like, yeah,
it doesn't really heal. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, is that how he got his powers back? Because the Crow looked fine at the end.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that deleted scene doesn't really need to be deleted, I guess.
Yeah, this is probably mine. There's no shaky cam, so other than that, this is probably the most Michael Bay looking scene of the film, with all the sparks exploding and the strobe effect. And
oh, then there's a sword fight. This is awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
They had to put that sound effect in there. Drrr. See, so you're watching this, Durbin.
Right.
Now, obviously, it's dated with its 90s stylism and all this stuff. But, like, when you sit and think about a comic book movie in 1993, this doesn't fit anything. Like, there was nothing like this.
That is very true.
And that's what I've always said. This movie was so ahead of its time that even like today, we would probably just now be getting like a true adaptation of this movie if this movie never came out in 93.
Yeah, that is so true. And I do like that shot where he's walking on the table and that like strobe effect on his face.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome because you can see a little underworld in this, like where they tried to take from this a little bit, but you know, it's inspired by this. This was the one that did it way before them.
So right now, if we would have gotten that deleted scene, we would have known that this, the killing of this guy is it's the end of his vengeance. Like he's supposed to go back to the grave now.
So his little jig there was pretty good.
His little dance was nice.
But if we had gotten that scene, I would have had a real problem with him jumping through that window with no cuts all over himself. But of course, that's movies, right? Movie glass doesn't cut anybody.
I mean, is this stuff taking effect immediately? I mean, he hasn't done anything against what he was supposed to be doing yet.
That's true. We need that deleted scene.
We need that deleted scene.
This is Matrixy before we had Matrix.
I told you, ahead of its time, man. I'm telling you.
The biggest difference is the Matrix with the wire work and the, cameras going around in circles and all that stuff.
Right.
That's the biggest difference.
Yeah, it took Keanu Reeves an entire career to reach this level of badassness.
Yes, it did. Well, Speed was pretty good for him, I gotta say. And that was about the same year this movie came out.
Yeah, Speed was good. I watched that the other day.
Oh, it's on HBO Max. I was so excited to find it.
Yeah.
My wife thought she's going to fall asleep during it and not want to watch it. But then she just sat there wide awake the whole time. She goes, "That was way better than I remember."
Yeah, that movie's nonstop, man.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes ridiculously so.
Like the bus jumping over that huge gap in the freeway. Stupid, but it's also hilarious.
Not even that. Like the very end where they're like surfing on that door or whatever out of the tunnel. I don't know.
Yep.
Just the words coming out of my mouth are just like.
So, okay. I am a fan of show, don't tell, right? So it's not like I want everything spelled out for me. But it sounds like this character here, his sister, is a little bit of a witch. Like, I mean, she's got a supernatural sense and a supernatural knowledge. And you kind of get that when she cuts out that one girl's eye and they burn it in that cup or whatever. But I wish we saw a little more. Like, where
a little bit more depth into their background. That's what
knowledge come from. How does she have
That's
it?
what I was saying earlier. Like, they can make a whole movie out of like a prequel with those guys.
Yeah,
with those two, because there is a lot of curiosity with that couple. Yes, yeah. Laura, I'm glad you finally realized that Speed is amazing. I realized it when it first came out. I loved that movie so much, and then I saw Speed 2 and died a little inside.
Yeah, Speed 2 is pretty awful.
We can't stop this boat. Well, good. You have the entire ocean. Who gives a shit?
Okay, so I hate that flashlight staying in his face because the kids already ran away, and I hated that freeze frame. But what I like about that scene is actually seeing him kind of smile and laugh and enjoying that little moment. Because, it reminds us of those good moments in life as he knows he's about to go die again. And it's like those good, happy moments that we got to hold on to.
But we don't know he's supposed to go die again.
No, we don't. It's a little confusing.
Because of the deleted scene.
Yes. I mean, I felt like I kind of was picking up on that the first time I was watching this, but only kind of. Or say goodbye now. Then she doesn't have to forgive you for squat.
Well, I mean, if you want to see him again, go murder his mom or something. And he'll come back and vengeance that death.
Yeah, he'll carry that sadness to the grave, and the crow will bring him back next Halloween. You'll see him again.
And like, oh my God, it's you. We finally get to meet. I had to kill you, but yeah, hi.
We just took this movie that's already pretty dark and went next level dark.
Welcome to Film Trigger.
Sequel to this movie. Sarah killing his mom so she can see him again.
He's torn. What should he do? Should he kill her? Should he not kill her? This is movie magic.
I was always kind of wondering, does he just crawl back into the hole he crawled out of? Or
he's like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have made such a mess. Let me scoop this back on here. Oh, you know what? I never noticed this before, but it's not raining.
I thought about that today, and I also thought about why would they? Oh, because his grave is there. Okay, so they're just hanging out by his grave, just hoping they could get something on him. That must be why they're there.
That's it.
Okay. I just put that together as I was saying it out loud. I don't like this red thing the girl's wearing. It makes her Little Red Riding Hood or something.
I kind of dig it. I'm also into freaky chicks, so. I mean, do you remember some of the shit I wore in high school, Derman?
I don't know. I mean, I wore clothes that were 3 sizes too big for me, but I was also so small. All clothes were 3 sizes too big for me. So
I think when I first met you, I was like, what did I say? I said you look like 2 different actors, and I remember one of them was I said you look like if Johnny Depp and Jim Carrey had a baby. That's what
I'm
I
glad
said to
you
you.
didn't say the Blue's Clues guy, because that's what I got all the time back in high school. Was the
I didn't
Blue's
watch.
Clues guy.
I never watched Blue's Clues, so
Well,
I
apparently
couldn't tell
all
you.
those people were admitting to me that they watched Blue's Clues even in high school, but I got that quite a bit. So if we had that deleted scene, we'd know he doesn't have power right now. Instead, we get the bird is shot, but is somehow alive after it's shot.
It does a decent job at filling that gap of not knowing that information. You just assume it's because of the bird.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean,
he
that's
said the bird was his link to the living, so you kind of have that connection in your mind.
right.
That was a dumb impression. I'm sorry. Like, I don't. He's a sinister character until he does that impression, and then it's laughable.
But it gets confusing when he gets his powers back. That's the part that becomes really weird.
It is really weird. Like, cause like he gets shot, his arm heals, and it's like I don't understand. There's something all about this that isn't super clear here.
Yeah, it's that deleted scene for sure. I want to see. I love it. I love his acting.
It is that raw moment of panic over his face when he sees the blood. It's like, uh-oh.
Aha.
He is a good bad guy. Like, in everything he's in, he's a pretty freaky bad guy.
All right, I'm going to share something on the screen. This is the character from the deleted scene. Give me a second to.
No problem. I'm watching a gunfight here. I do love this moment when the cop is like, I thought you were invincible. Well, I was. Why doesn't she kill the bird when she picks it up? She picked it up. She could have snapped the darn thing's neck. Oh, look at that.
Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Does it look stupid?
I saw it a little bit. Bring it back up.
I thought I had it back up. Right here?
There he is. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's the guy.
I wish we got that. That would have been interesting to see that, dude.
Yeah.
But the problem, as I think if I understand correctly from you, is that they shot it with the double, right?
Yeah, I think they shot it with the double, and it was kind of problematic. And then they decided to put it on the cutting room floor because of time.
Yeah, all those things put together. I kind of get that. I'm not anymore. I love that line.
But I will be later.
Yes. But how will he be later?
Watch the deleted scenes. I don't know if that's in the extras or not.
You know, sometimes HBO Max puts extras on there, so I'll have to go check and see if they have those kind of extras on there.
You know, it's really good to see brother and sister love each other like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm desensitized thanks to Game of Thrones.
I've never seen a single episode of that.
You know what, Steve? I, on the one hand, would say check it out, but then I saw the final season, and it's a show that goes nowhere and has one of the worst endings of all time. So it's not even worth your time.
Oh, well, good.
Yep.
I was never going to watch it.
But how they tanked it, but yeah.
I don't like that early Earth stuff, which is why I don't like Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Laura.
Oh, Laura's family said I look like the guy from Blue's Clues. Okay, she just got that comment up there from a long time ago. Why didn't she kill the bird? Like, it bugs me. I don't like it. Like, ever since Incredible shattered the glass for me and said, why did the bad guy always monologue it? Why is she monologuing? She grabbed the bird. She could have twisted its neck and he's dead. What's the deal?
Maybe because she's not 100% certain. She doesn't know that will kill him. Maybe her keeping the bird in some sort of injured state.
Poetic thing here, though. She loved eyes, right? And cut eyes out.
Yeah.
She loved eyes. And now it ate her eyes.
Yes.
That was a poetic justice scene.
Yes, it was. As we said, this movie is very poetic.
Yes.
Oh, it's
But now
raining
we're-
again.
Now we're back to the confusion. Well, the rain is like symbolic, right? It doesn't rain all the time. So he's about to say goodbye to her in the grave. It's not raining. Things are better now. But now the bad guy's back. The threat is returned. It's raining. I thought that was kind of interesting. See, again, he's fresh off the set of Three Musketeers from Disney. And he comes over and goes, let's just do the sword thing. We'll use the fight choreography from that movie.
They were probably shooting it simultaneously.
See, he's healed because he got struck by lightning grabbing that thing. So it's like, I guess the bird must have healed when it pecked out her eyes.
Yep, that's it. That's what we're doing.
That's what we'll go with.
Dude, I want one of those water drains. Did you see that? It was a gargoyle spewing out water from its mouth. That's amazing. If I had it my way, Durbin, my house would be like the Addams family house with water spewing gargoyles.
Honestly, that fits you. And yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thank you.
You should take it as a compliment. My house would look like something out of Lord of the Rings.
You should take that as a compliment. You're ghoulish, Steve.
No, there he is. Something that's not going to hurt him, kill him, or affect him in any way. Right, here comes the line.
Every man's got a devil, and you can't rest till you find him.
Yep.
See, this is when the vengeance comes back. There's still one more person to kill, and that deleted scene would explain this right here.
Yep. And didn't he just say it there? Let's put a smile on that face. See, and again, what makes that so poetic is it's not just the pain of his fiancée dying, but in a sense, it's representative of all the pain that he's inflicted in this entire city. And here he is feeling the fruit of his labor. Like, he reaped what he sowed. Oh, the blood coming out of the gargoyle's mouth. I never noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. Yes, poetic and awesome gargoyle blood. That's great.
Yeah. Put it together. We got the poetry. We have the gargoyle blood.
Yes. He still seems pretty injured.
No, yeah, he's like more injured here than he's ever been. But I mean, you and me would not be walking after being stabbed like that. I like that line.
Yeah, his character really is like he's silent partner in this whole thing. It's like Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
Man, that is not the time to quit smoking.
It's just for some reason they taste terrible now because in a couple scenes earlier he said smoking will kill you.
It's like, oh, it tastes terrible. Mainly because my lungs are filling with blood.
That's right. His lungs would be filling with blood. Really
just like Batman.
Yep.
So that's what that feels like.
It's funny. I was watching The Dark Knight Rises the other day, and I could not get past the Christian Bale voice. Like, I was fine with it when it first came out, but now all of a sudden it's like I hear it. I'm like, I love these Batman movies, but that voice is on my nerves now. What?
Yeah. His voice in Batman Begins is different than the other ones, and they should have stuck with the Batman Begins.
Yeah, they should have, or done the voice modulator that they did in with Batfleck.
Brilliant freaking idea.
Yes, it was. I'm positive they got it from season 1 of Arrow.
I wouldn't know. You missed him.
Couldn't go to jail for helping a vigilante? I love this scene. Like, I was
No,
wondering
no,
what they were
no.
going to do with him crawling up and dying, but they just did this so beautifully, like with his wife coming to get him, so now he can rest.
Durbin, he wasn't helping a vigilante that he was talking about. He was talking about the main bad guy. They don't know. The cops don't know about the Crow yet. He's the only cop that knows about the Crow.
I was just saying his presence even being there when he's supposed to be suspended could get him in major trouble.
I don't know. Or he's going to take all the credit and they're like, damn.
That'd be awesome. He deserves the credit.
This guy needs your job. Oh, somebody put the dirt back.
I love that scene. That was a good scene. That was a good way to send off Eric. Wonder how many takes it took for them to get that bird to actually do what it was supposed to.
I don't know. Does that mean that her and the bird are getting married now, or I'm confused? There were 5 birds used in the production of this movie, but the main one was used in not only this one, but the next 2.
Oh, interesting.
For Brandon and Eliza. Eliza was Brandon's wife. Or is Brandon, would have been Brandon's wife. They dedicated the movie to them because, obviously he died and they were supposed to get married.
Yeah.
God, it's so parallel. It's creepy.
I know. It's like you kind of get chills just thinking about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm hitting stop. And that's the movie.
Okay, Durbin. So it only took you 2 Patreon requests. One of them you denied.
I didn't 100% deny. I watched it and I didn't know what to say. Like,
yeah, your exact words were, "I don't get it."
Yes, they were actually. I think that was the exact message.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it.
Yep.
But I feel like, okay, so watching it this afternoon before you and I did this, it kind of took me a little layer deeper. And I was trying to follow along. But I think what really helped, and I'm going to save this for tomorrow on my review, and then I'll read it then. But Aaron wrote a message on Facebook about why he loved this movie. So my goal tonight was not just to be all super nitpicky or whatever. My goal was to see this through Aaron's eyes, like the way that he wrote it in his message. I wanted to see it through his eyes. So I'll read you his message tomorrow in my review. And
all right. But in that concept, how did you feel about this movie watching it through Aaron's eyes, pretty much?
Well, through Aaron's eyes, I get the emotional connection that he's making with that character, because even though this is kind of a dark, vengeance-based movie, it's also a live life to the fullest type of movie. And so you really look at it and you just see Eric Draven, he's sent back to right the wrongs. And, it's the wrongs committed against him and his soon-to-be wife, but it's also the wrongs that have been committed in this city for who knows how long, that it's burning down each year. And so he's kind of like this judgment that has been sent into Sodom and Gomorrah to bring about or execute the judgment on the people that were really hurting so many. And so it's interesting to look at it through that perspective and look at it as this is about living life to the fullest. And one of the things Aaron pointed out was how he said, when he's talking to the cop about his wife, he said, there were some things that she did or liked that were just so tedious to me. But now I know nothing is tedious. And it's like, well, that's a powerful lesson, because even today, when I accidentally locked myself out of my house, that felt pretty darn tedious. But, it's like, but it's living life to the full. And life, we stupid humans get great moments like that. And it's best to just laugh at it. Yeah, exactly.
And we had a good laugh about it, and you're going to laugh about it in the future. Life is tedious for sure, man. Man, Aaron White. I like that dude. He's cool.
Yeah. And so watching it with that perspective now, because it helped me. It helped me a lot to go, okay, so like that moment where the kids are running around, like they're playing trick or treat, they're in their costumes. It's like, wait, they're able to do that this year because the city isn't burning. And now they're like running, laughing, and having fun, and it's bringing him joy. It's like those little moments we take for granted. And then it shows us, it's like, that's why you don't join what the bad guys are doing, because life is too precious to be that selfish, to be that cruel, to be that evil, to go through life in that drug-induced stupor. Life is too precious.
But let's say
Yeah,
you did live in a city that was burnt down every Halloween Eve.
I would move, but yeah, go on.
Right. At what point in time do you decide the kids are allowed to go out?
Yeah. Okay. But okay. So that's
I'm
me talking about the emotion. There's a lot of
Right.
nitpicky things I have about this movie. You just pulled up a really good one. And another one in terms of plot hole that I still can't wrap my head around. We were making fun of it. He had this idea. And the idea is what birthed this city being burned every day on Halloween. And he went off about this grand idea and never got specific about it.
No, as a matter of fact, I think he said idea like 15 times. Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like,
to do with
and they're-
anarchy, but he didn't get into details.
well, he kind of did. They're like, so what is this big idea? And he's like, I want a bigger fire. Oh, jeez. Okay.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You want a bigger fire?
That's not an idea. That's
Yeah.
not an idea. You're okay. You deserve to die. Someone else deserves to be the leader.
Yeah.
All right, Durbin. So anything else you want to end off when it comes to this movie? This movie that's hung over your head like an old dead goose for 8 months of.
Well, it's funny because it's like I never intended to ignore when you requested that of me. I didn't know what to say. And then honestly, because everybody loves this movie, it's this sacred cow. When I didn't seem to have that same reaction that everybody else is having, I was like, look, it's fine to have an opinion, but I also don't want to so I was trying to find okay, what words could I use and come from the right place? And then Aaron throws that on. I was like, okay, all right, this is really all right, I got to do this. And so I think watching it more times, I've been able to get a little bit deeper and maybe even find the words to say. And I think now, having watched it 2.5 times, it's like, okay, there's levels where I'm understanding why this is such a classic and why people absolutely love it. So I like the movie. I don't hate it, but I miss the bus.
But I'll let you collect those thoughts, and we will talk about them tomorrow on your channel for our review at 1:00 Pacific time.
12 o'clock Pacific time.
God damn it. Why I keep saying 1 for?
I don't know.
And
I'm
3
doing it
o'clock.
that early for you, Steve, because you
I
got
know,
other things in the evening.
I got other things, man. And 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This movie to me is very special. And as I said to you, while watching it, and you're asking me questions I don't know the answers to, I'm like, man, I haven't really dove too deep into those little minor details of this movie, but because it's so nostalgically there for me. I watched it at the right time of my age. I dealt with the right type of stress. And this movie was just targeted for me, someone like me, or someone like Aaron, in her own, whatever reasons. So yeah, I love this movie to death. As I said at the beginning, I named my only son after this movie, and it's it's always going to hold a special place in my heart. And the story is valuable.
Yeah.
Not only the story, but me loving movies and knowing that this movie was ahead of its time. We watched it. We compared it to so many different movies that came after it. Wow, they must have gotten it from this. Maybe they were inspired by this. This movie just came out. It was unparalleled. The only comparing movie at the time that people could compare it to is Batman with Michael Keaton, and that's because of the cinematography. So, besides that, that's why I love this movie. But we'll dive deeper into that tomorrow. Yeah. Is there anything else? Is that it? Are we good?
I think we're good. We watched the movie.
Right.
We talked about the movie. We got to save some material for tomorrow.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Please subscribe to Durbin's channel. His link is in the description below. You also do some social media stuff, right? You're on the Facebook, Twitter, all that fun things.
You just search Durbania. You'll find me there. Twitter, it's @World of Durbania, because I made a Durbania account long before there was a Durbania. but then I lost all the info to get back into that account and couldn't find it again. So now we have at World of Durbania. So that's where you find me on Twitter. At World of Durbania.
I've always wondered why.
Yeah, I locked myself out of the Durbania one, and it was long before I had the YouTube channel. I just always liked the name Durbania.
Yeah, I remember that name coming about
in high school.
Yeah.
You were there. You were there when the name came about, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how far. There we go. That's how far back this guy and I can't point right. That's how far back we go.
Let's touch fingers. Let's touch fingers.
Oh gosh, it's too hard.
All right,
Don't leave me hanging. Okay, we're done.
It's
too late. I don't want to do it anymore. It's not funny.
It's stupid finger. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and join us next time. We don't have a date because, much like Durbin did with The Crow, I'm kind of reluctant on doing Galaxy Quest, but we will do it because he loves that movie. I'm not such a big fan. Maybe I can get my mind changed. Or maybe not, but we'll stay tuned for further updates. Until then, stay trigger happy, my friends. Durbin, thank you so much for joining me.
Yep.
And we'll see you tomorrow on your channel.
Peace.
Peace.